what are some of the problems that they're experiencing that causes them to perk, for their ears to perk up and say, oh, he's talking about something that's interesting to me. People do that when you're talking about some of the problems that this unresolved trauma causes in their life. Right? And you mentioned things like they have a great career and a beautiful family, but you go to bed crying and unhappy at night.
Yeah.
That you have a wonderful life, but you feel drained of your energy, that you have no sense of joy or excitement for your life, even though everything looks okay on paper.
Yep.
You can't pinpoint what's wrong because you have everything anyone could ask for. But despite all this, you can't bring yourself to appreciate it or accomplish success. That you ask yourself, what's wrong with me, which I see is on your website.
Yes.
It's hunting your existence and plaguing their life, and they know they have to deal with it. They've been through therapy, but it hasn't helped them.
Yeah.
Does that cover it?
People work hard at life.
Yeah.
Life is not easy. Like, even if you think someone is struggling and they're not being quite, successful or meeting expectations, people work really hard at life. And to wake up every day with a sense of dissatisfaction, despite all the effort that you're putting into having this great life, not only for yourself, but the people who depend on you or the people that you care about, the big burden that most people have to live with, where it's like, I'm trying my best here. Like, where did I go wrong? And I've gone through times in my life where I had to ask myself that question. It's like, I'm working my butt off day and night. I'm doing everything I can. Why does it still feeling so sour? Like, where did I go wrong? Then you start to realize it's not really about what you're doing or not doing. It's not that you're not doing enough or you've done something wrong. It's just that you've ignored yourself. So at the end of the day, like, who are you doing it all this for if you never take the time to actually pay attention and see where you are yourself, psychologically, emotionally, call it spiritually? Where are you in all of this? The moment you start to pay attention to yourself, just that time that you spend focusing on yourself and your own state of being, you'll find energy from that. You'll find a sense of direction from that. And ultimately, you'll find a sense of satisfaction from that because you're reconnecting with yourself. The issue with us is we completely dissociate ourselves from our true essence. So it's like people go through life, they want to have good relationships, they want to have good jobs, right? Because your job is a relationship, your career is a relationship. Like, I was actually going to tell you about, like the people, your clients, for example. Why do people stop and start thinking about changing careers? It's not necessary. Like, people who come to you are not broke. I mean, you have to have done something right in life to afford a career coach. That means that whatever they were doing, it's about self-fulfillment. They need something else to make them feel a certain way, right? So how do you figure out the best option for you if you don't even know you?
You
How do
can't.
you find the best relationship for yourself if you don't know yourself? And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So what's the best gift for you? I don't know you. So how can I give you the best gift for you, right? You don't know yourself. How can you give yourself the best gift in life? So when people stop and start to do that introspective work, things start to click. We don't have to list every single benefit you're going to see. You yourself, you start to reconnect and see that, you know what? This is why this is why I've been acting this way for so long. This is why I've been making these types of decisions for so long. I know I'm not happy here and I know why. That alone will give you so much energy, so much excitement about life because now you feel like the whole world is opening up in front of you where you can do so many things that will give you that sense of satisfaction, that sense of purpose, ultimately.
Yes. Yes. Um, yes. So as we were talking about that, I was jotting down some notes because we talked about the problems that you help people solve. Now, what are the outcomes? So like when you were talking about how you like to finish projects and you like taking someone from point A to point B,
Yes,
like point A, we've talked a lot about. We've talked about the journey, and
mhm,
that journey is a process of self-discovery. Now,
yes,
what is the outcome? Like what is that point B? You know? And we
yes,
talked about that a little bit last time, and I'll tell you what we said just as a reminder, but then kind of like what I captured just now as you were talking.
yes,
Point B, so the what is trace the trauma trail, find
yes,
where the incidents happened.
yes,
What incident actually turned you into, or what into this version of yourself, or what impact did it have on you, and figure out a way to dissipate that energy and turn it into something else.
yes,
Maybe not dissipate the energy, but turn the energy into something else.
yes. So the idea is to reverse the polarity of it
No.
because something that is not going in your favor is weighing you down. It's kind of like swimming against current, right? You jump in the river and you're trying to swim upstream. You're not gonna last. You want to go with the flow, but the flow that you want to go with is your own
Your
flow.
flow.
Yes. So if you can reconnect with your inner self, you understand, you get a sense of your own natural flow, and you go with that flow. If you go with that flow, that means the energy that you used to spend fighting against yourself, you get that energy back and you can put it into something else. And the impact will be exponential because now you're going with the flow of your own essence versus going against it. It may not be intentional because you had no idea you were doing that. But most people end up going against the flow of their own essence. And that's where the suffering comes in. Nothing will feel right if you're going against your own nature. I mean, we can talk about this all day long, but if you understand, the sooner you can understand this in life, the easier that your life will get. You cannot fight your own nature and you cannot run fast enough to get away from yourself. Wherever you go, I'm not sure who said that. Wherever you go, here you are. You cannot escape yourself. So the sooner you come to this realization that, you know what, if you're not happy, just stop. Turn the spotlight on yourself and seeing how well you're doing at listening to your true essence, or how well are you doing at following your own natural instinct, or how well are you doing taking care of yourself, being kind to yourself, being mindful to yourself. Like I went through times in my life where I was like just working and working and working and banging my head against the wall, thinking the more I work, that somehow my life will be better as a result. But then you realize, why are you doing this in the first place if you're not even going to be enjoying whatever the fruit of your labor is, right? So ultimately, that work you're doing it against yourself. You think you're doing something, but you're actually working against yourself because all you're doing is taking attention away from the main character in the movie, which is you. That's the philosophy. You need to turn the attention back to yourself. So whatever it is that caused you all these disturbances over time, go back, address it, free yourself from it. Okay? Allow that energy to turn into something positive. Focus on taking care of you mentally, physically, emotionally, however you want to call it. Take care of you. Over time, you have that energy, you have the clarity to see what to do next. And then you get to the habit of doing what makes sense to you according to this new understanding that you have of yourself. I feel like people feel ashamed to say they're doing something for themselves.
Mhm.
It's almost like we operate under the assumption that the whole world is waiting to see you be a hero for everyone but yourself. You're the CEO of this company. You're the head of this family. You're the mother of these children. So basically, you are praised for things you do for everyone other than yourself. The day that you decide to say, you know what, I've taken this time to devote it on myself and understanding my needs and stuff like that. All of a sudden, you start to raise eyebrows, people start to look at you a certain way, and it's like selfish.
Mhm.
Selfish is not a good thing nowadays.
Mhm.
And we believe that. So we avoid the subject of self analysis, self fulfillment, self awareness. We like tiptoeing around the subject. But you know what? Wherever you go, this is you. Everything you see in life is through the lenses of you. I cannot experience life the way you experience it because I can only experience it the way I experience it, right? So technically, you are the center of your own universe. So how else are you supposed to go through life? In my opinion, where the disconnect comes from, where people look outwards for answers and solutions and the sense of satisfaction. You can do everything that you want in life as long as you're at peace with yourself. Anything. And even if you're the type of person that wants to do for others first, at least you know that's your nature. And you will accept that about yourself. And when you do it, you know you're taking care of you by taking care of other people. And it's okay to admit that.
Yeah, and it also helps you to be more in control of your decisions so that if you know that that's your nature, your tendency to do that, sometimes people just do and do it when they're not aware, they do and do and do and do that, then they overextend themselves and then they find themselves burnt out, overwhelmed, unappreciated, resentful, all the things, you know. But if you're aware that that's your tendency and that's your nature, then you can kind of put some healthy boundaries around it, the ones that feel right to you, so that you continue to do that thing if that's the thing that's natural to you, but you do it with a sense of balance, like you're still balancing out, taking care of yourself or making time for other things in your life that are also important to you, right? So that you don't get to that point of anger, resentment, passive aggressiveness, right?
Thank you. Exactly. That's exactly it. If you understand that I'm doing this because this is what does it for me, this is how I find satisfaction in life by doing things for people and getting praise for it, or by doing people, even if they don't acknowledge it, this is how I get my satisfaction. At least you know. So when it's time to give yourself some boundaries, when it's time to set some rules and make some choices, you understand this about yourself. And you won't have this awkwardness about, well, everybody expects me to do stuff and I don't, this is what you want to do. It's okay. The day that you said that you decide that you don't want to do it anymore, they don't understand. Again, it's like we can go into details, but I try to guide people by principles. Okay. Understand the principle of it. How can you be good at taking care of you if you don't know you? How can you succeed at creating the perfect life for yourself if you don't understand yourself? It's kind of like someone's asking you, go and find my husband the home that he's gonna love. It's like, I don't know your husband. Like, how am I supposed to know the home that your husband is gonna love, right? If you take the time to understand yourself, you'll then know the steps to take for you to have that sense of satisfaction in life, the sense of fulfillment. And one last thing I like to mention is the idea of inner peace. People think of peace as a passive state where, okay, I'm at peace. I'm just going to sit here and lay down and nothing is bothering me. But peace is a very powerful thing. If you study the history of every empire that's ever ruled on this planet, they see the most growth and they reach their peak during periods of peace.
Mhm.
You become productive during periods of peace. You build during periods of peace. Okay. When you have conflict, things fall apart. Infrastructure starts to fall apart. The political system will fall apart. Everything falls apart during times of conflict. This is the pattern. Every single empire, every single kingdom, that's how it works, right? So if you at odds with yourself, you're at conflict with yourself, you're not growing. You're just literally running on a treadmill. You're not growing. You're going to be sweating. You're going to be burning calories, but you're not going anywhere. When you find peace, when you find that inner peace, every step you take, you're taking it in the right direction. And you make progress according to your own appreciation or your own sense of your own values, the things that you value most. So every progress you make out of that sense of peace is something that you can build on. And I feel like that aspect of it is often either misunderstood or misinterpreted. Peace is not a passive state. Peace is actually a very powerful state of being where you put yourself in position to grow exponentially.